The withdrawal is meant to avoid bringing attention to other offices' confidential funds, particularly that of the Office of the President, which received the biggest allocation. The youth group also alleges that VP Sara is merely escaping accountability for the OVP's 125 million peso confidential fund in 2022. Manuel believes Sara should still be held accountable for it. ACT Teachers Representative Franz Castro likewise said that the Vice President has yet to disclose where the money had been spent and that she should still face questioning over the funds. Castro also notes that the education has more pressing concerns to attend to than pushing for confidential funds. Among them, an ongoing learning crisis, a classroom shortage, and more benefits for teachers. Senator Bato de la Rosa, for his part, welcomed VP Sara's decision to give up on the confidential funds, although he hopes that DepEd will still put an end to alleged recruitment of students by the communist groups. In a statement to Senator Sani Angara, who chairs the Senate Finance Committee, Duterte said she has withdrawn her confidential fund request because the issue has become divisive. In the same plenary session on Thursday, Duterte also dropped the request for secret funds for the Education Department. Still on the 2024 budget, the Senate has recalled its approval of the proposed spending plan of Philippine Statistics Authority. This move follows reports that the agency supposedly issued birth certificates to some foreigners that they used to get Philippine passports. Senator Bato de la Rosa says there's information from the Justice Department on at least 10 foreigners with Philippine passports. The DFA has also confirmed the reports, noting that the PSA certificates presented by the foreigners when obtaining their passports were legitimate. The foreigners supposedly pretended to be persons with disability. That's why they were accompanied by some Filipinos during the application who pretended to be their relatives. With this, senators want the PSA to face questioning again before they give their final approval on the agency's budget. Another newly elected official has been killed just over a week after the barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections. Rodolfo Dacol, the newly elected captain of Barangay Lapedian in Pagadian City, Zamboanga del Sur, was killed by an unidentified gunman on Wednesday evening. Authorities say Dacol was about to park the barangay-owned tricycle when the suspect approached and shot him at point-blank range. Dacol's family shared that he had been receiving frequent death threats. His scheduled oath-taking was supposed to take place on Thursday. The police are currently conducting an investigation to apprehend the suspect responsible for the shooting. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Diego Castro. Newly appointed Agriculture Secretary Francisco Chu Laurel Jr. has started a reorganization within the DA with the appointment of his Chief of Staff. Laurel signed Special Order 1360 designating lawyer Alvin John Balagbag as new Chief of Staff and Head Executive Assistant. He will be replacing Agriculture Assistant Secretary Rex Estoperez At the same time, Laurel also appointed Assistant Secretary Genevieve Velicaria Guevara as head of the Kadiwa program, previously handled by dismissed Assistant Secretary Christine Evangelista. Meanwhile, sources from the DA said that Laurel has already issued a memorandum directing all employees covered by contract of service to start vacating their offices. The Agriculture Department is renewing its call for the passage of a law that requires restaurants to offer a half cup of rice serving option to avoid food wastage. Maricel Halili with the report.
Even though the price of rice remains high, tons of it are being wasted by Filipinos every year. In fact, a study conducted by the Nutrition Research Institute of the DOST shows that every Filipino wastes at least 2 tablespoons of rice per day. That's equivalent to some 384,000 metric tons of rice wasted per year, valued at around 7.2 billion pesos. This could feed at least 2.5 million Filipinos.
Ano po ba napapansin natin pag may fiesta, no? Marami kasi yung sabi nga natin takaw mata. The campaign says, get only what you need. And in what we have done in the past was to encourage a half cup serving as default.
PhilRice says there's a lot of rice wasted in the provinces. This is why PhilRice is also pushing for the passage of the half-cup rice bill. This would obligate all eateries or restaurants to make the option of having only a half cup of rice available nationwide. PhilRice says this could also benefit those who are diabetic. President Marcos had initially filed the Anti-Rice Wastage Act of 2013 when he was still a lawmaker. Currently, there are 4 to 6 areas in the Philippines that have ordinances on half-cup rice, including major cities like Baguio, Quezon City, and Manila. But advocates say it's best if this comes a law.
Para at least kahit saan ka man pumunta, alam mo na dapat magsiserve sila ng half. And ito naman po ay in consultation with the businesses din. And okay naman sa kanila as long as wala naman daw cost.
But some owners of small eateries like Rosaline are not in favor of the bill.
Nakabalot-balot po yung rice namin tulad po nito. Nakabalot na siya ng 1 cup. Ngayon, pag mag-half rice pa kami, parang kumbaga-abala po para sa amin.
But for some customers, it will be good to have a law like this.
Kasi po, minsan po hindi naman po talaga nauubos yung kanin, nasasayang lang.
While the push for the half-cup rice policy is still ongoing, PhilRice is appealing to restaurants, especially those offering only rice, to be strict in implementing penalties for those who are not able to finish them. For News 5, Maricel Halili, we are One News.
And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us again at 11:15 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. I'm Jago Castro. We are One News. All sides, all the time.